We're live.
Welcome to Fall Forward Radio.
What's up, man?
Here we are again, my friend.
I know, episode 5. We are cruising along. How's everything with you?
Oh, everything couldn't be any better right now, man. Enjoying some downtime with the family. I know it's a tough time for many.
Yeah.
But being able to spend this quality time with the family, I can't say that I like it a lot.
My daughter's actually away this week, so I'm spending quality time with the gecko and the dog, and that's great because they sleep all day. All they want is food. So, hey, man,
Perfect.
Did you see? You saw the announcement that I put out the other day about all 3 episodes, over 10,000 views. Can't wait.
There we go.
You're gonna hear it in there. So we just done 2 more interviews. Got another one coming up. Some really exciting stuff coming up, people. So stay tuned. Hit that notification bell. I know I said I would never say it, but got to do it, man.
Subscribe.
So who's coming up today?
Hey,
Big Dog.
Before we go into that, I wanted to show you a quick update.
Show me.
Amy Wolf.
Yes.
The Don't Give Up Signs movement, right?
Yeah.
So put a few signs around town.
Yeah.
Got this message from in town. Let me share this with you real quick. Can you see it really
What
well?
does it say? Whoever put up all the signs of encouragement throughout the neighborhood, thank you. Sweet.
Isn't that great?
That is great, man.
So that was from our neighborhood Facebook group. My wife shared that with me today. It's amazing, man. Those signs really do, they touch people. You never know.
You know what? They really do. And, it's funny because on Fall Forward, we've just done an interview, 2 actually we did today. And it's so funny. We're seeing how different episode people can intertwine together and work together to push their different messages. So that's a beautiful thing. It's almost like unexpected marriage that we kind of like you and me, right?
Easy there.
Okay.
You're not my type.
So who's coming up today?
Oh, man. So we've got Keith Maginn on today. He wrote a couple of very interesting books about extraordinary people. Don't want to go in too much depth. I want to kind of let him, speak about it on his own terms, but really interesting guy. I think he's become a brother in some respects here. So let's get to that interview here in a second. What do you say?
Yeah, and just so he feels better, it's Keith Maginn. Just didn't want to upset him on that side. So let's get Keith on the show.
All right, here we go.
All right, everybody, welcome back. So today's guest, as we spoke about a little bit earlier on, we have, we're very lucky to have an author of 4 books, 4 very, very successful books. And please welcome, as you can see, Keith Maginn. How are you, Keith?
I'm doing good, thank you. You even pronounced it right.
I know. See, I had to look on your Facebook to make sure that I had those little acronyms to make sure I said it right. So,
good research.
Yeah, exactly. So how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you all?
Really good.
Fantastic.
Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Keith, I'm going to expose myself a little bit here. First of all, I want to say you're a fantastic writer.
Thank you.
Picked up the Extraordinary stories book, and got through the first 4 chapters. The chapter on Matt and Katie and Ro and Jack, I'll tell you what, I was under my covers with my wife sleeping next to me with the Kindle with the light on. I'm sitting there and I'm flipping, and I'm like, I've got to get to the end. It's such a cliffhanger. What is going on? Where is he taking me on this story? And it was, your writing is just out of this world. It really captured my attention. I could not put that down.
I really appreciate that. And it's really ironic because my girlfriend and I and our 11-month-old son just bought this house that I'm in right now. And Ro was our realtor. So we're still, really close friends even after college and 20 years later or whatever.
That is fantastic. I mean, look, I like I said, I read the story cliffhanger. You got me there. I mean, you even got me to go out on the website and look up their .com and figure out what's going on with the family. It's fantastic. Your writing's just out of this world.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he called me up and he said, dude, he said, I can't, he was texting me saying, I'm on the edge of my seat. He's like, I can't speak right now. Give me 10 minutes. And I noticed how he says that he was flipping the pages on his Kindle, but that's obviously him showing the age that you actually, I think you just push.
I'm a tech head, so what do
you can flip, right? You can flip on a Kindle. You swipe across. Well, listen, Keith, so as Jay just exposed about one of your books, so hopefully he hasn't ruined it for the readers moving forward. Tell us a little bit about your journey from kind of start to where you are now, and why you really decided that you wanted to get everything down on paper, and kind of, and also let's touch on your 3,000-mile road trip as well. Lots of questions. That's like 14 questions in one go. So
no worries.
Break. So go for
the floor.
No, they kind of all lead into each other. So that's good. So the first one, I was in a relationship with a young woman who was suffering with bipolar depression, and it was very difficult. And she didn't want anybody to know what was really going on. So I started writing just basically as therapy for myself. I knew I had to get it out. I didn't want to betray her trust and, you know, talk to friends, family about it. So I started writing basically for myself, which ended up becoming my first book, turning this thing around, which I call an inspirational self-help memoir, basically. So I wrote about difficult things I had to overcome. Not only that, but my own depression, anxiety, social anxiety, chronic pains that I've lived with for years, that kind of stuff. But as I started writing it more and more, and then also when that relationship ended, I felt like I could come out with that book, and I don't use her name or anything like that. But so it started out as kind of a self-help therapy thing for me. I really thought others could get something from that. And I was honestly terrified to put that book out. I'd never put a book out before, especially one that personal in nature. I didn't know how people would react, especially a male in my society where we're not supposed to talk about emotions or weakness or anything like that. So fortunately, I did put it out, and the response was amazing right off the bat. I got so much good from that, and talked to so many people that said it really touched them in some way, which really made me feel like all the hard work and the fear was worth it. So after I wrote that, through that book, I met someone, and we decided to go on what became the second book, which was the Goodwill Tour. So we came up with this idea where we were going to drive around the Southeast in the U.S., meet people, give them money to pay it forward to somebody else. So we got to go to amazing places, Memphis, Charleston, New Orleans, many other places. It was just an awesome experience. Very low budget. We didn't have much time or much money to do it, but we kind of took a leap of faith. It ended up being a great experience, met some great people, had a great time. So from that one, I then was talking to my chiropractor one day, and she knew that I was an author, and we were talking about people in her office alone that had amazing stories. And that kind of evolved to, man, really everybody's got an amazing story. You just don't know it. A lot of times we hide it, or we're just so busy. You never hear about it. And then you turn on the news and it's so negative. And that's why I was really glad to do this with you guys, because I feel like we have similar goals when it comes to sharing positive stories, which is unfortunately not the norm right now. Well, so I ended up doing that book about some really interesting people that I knew personally. And then that got picked up by a publisher, KiCam, which KiCam, great people to work with. And they then, after the third book, they kind of put something out on social media saying, hey, if you've got an amazing story, we'd love one of our authors to kind of include you in this book. And they got letters from all over the world. So they basically just said, Keith, here's everything we got. Pick your favorite 10 and go for it, which was amazing. Wow. And some of these people I had even heard of before, like best-selling authors, motivational speakers that go all over the world and speak to literally over 1 million people a year and inspire people. And I got to write their stories in the fourth book.
So let me get this right. So the fourth book was more inspirational stories, right? More extraordinary. Yeah. So they put out something on social media asking people, and then people wrote in, and then you had the opportunity to actually, did you go meet them? Did you speak to them on the phone, or were you just doing through email? How did that work?
A little bit of all of it. Most of the people were too far away, so I wasn't able to really meet them in person, but there were phone calls, Skype, emails, that kind of stuff. In some cases, they had videos, like motivational videos out, or best-selling books already. So I kind of did my homework, read their books, took some notes, so that way when I did get them, because some of these people are extremely busy, I was honored to be, even get to speak to them. So I kind of did my homework, came up with some questions that I wanted to ask them. And then if I had follow-up questions, came back to them later, let them read, I think, the first draft to see kind of what they thought, make sure I wasn't saying anything that they didn't want in there, or if they had anything they wanted to add. So it was such an amazing experience, and really humbling that I got to kind of talk to these people and get to tell my version of their story.
Right.
Well, the 3,000-mile road trip was really, really fascinating for me when I saw the information on that. And to hear you saying, so you went out with a particular amount of money, you gave it to people to pay forward. And did you get any stories from that with regards to any of the paying, how people used it to pay it forward, or was it just left it with them and hoped that they did what you asked them to do?
A little of both. In some cases, we got to kind of see where the money went and how it was being used. In other cases, and rightfully so, it was kind of a big decision for some of these people. These strangers just come in from out of town and meet them and say, hey, you really inspire me. We want to give you some money, but you got to give it to somebody else. Right. That was kind of a conundrum, hopefully in a good way for some of these people. So in some cases, we were just blowing through these towns in a day or two. So we didn't really have a chance to stick around, unfortunately, although we would have loved to. But definitely followed up with all of them and kind of got an idea of where the money went, what the people did with them. So it was amazing. And oddly, my dream has always been to do an extended road trip, first in the US and then elsewhere. But first want to explore this amazing, vast country. So I've always wanted to just rent an RV for 3 months, 6 months, and just drive around the US and meet people, tell their stories, that kind of thing. So this was just an appetizer for what I'd love to do later, really.
Right. So Keith, what are you doing today outside of, are you still working on another book right now? What does it look like for you?
A little bit. My writing's been kind of put on hold since my 11-month-old was born, but I've been taking notes all along. So
sleepless nights.
Yeah, a little bit. So I've been taking notes all along. I'd really like to write a book about my experience with having a kid, because I'm 41 years old. So I'm a little bit later in life in a lot of people's eyes for having a child. So I think that's kind of a unique spin on it. Just how much it's changed my life, how much of a blessing he's been to us, and how amazing it is. I didn't know if I would even have a kid at this point in my life. And now I can't imagine not having him. So I'd really like to try to capture that, put that in a book.
Just have to say hashtag 40-year-old dads, all three of us.
I thought Rob was going to throw out a little jab there. So I should keep my mouth shut, because I was in the same boat as you, my friend. You're good.
Nice, nice.
I mean, just listening to what you just said about your dream of going out into an RV. I mean, Jay and I were just talking about this the other day, and one of our goals is to take our show on the road as well, and just to travel around and basically kind of do what you want to do. You want to write stories, we want to interview people, same sort of thing. Maybe we'll team up and you can be the writer and we'll be the face. But no, I think on that side is with regards to people's inspirational stories. We've been very lucky to interview lots of different people doing different things. And you're right in that aspect, is that everybody has something that is great, but they just don't think it's as great as the next person.
Yeah. They're living within that reality. They're not thinking what it means to others or how it would affect others with their story. But I love that approach you took, like I said, with your friend Roe and whatnot, telling their story. And gosh, it's inspirational to really understand what they went through. And, I couldn't put it down. I had to get through the whole chapter.
Well, that's very flattering. I appreciate that. And it's, one of the odd things that I found was that every person that I interviewed, especially for the book about people that I know, we're all just ordinary people. We're not famous, nothing crazy, but hopefully good people. Well, over and over again, they just kept saying, no one's going to want to read my story. I'm nobody. They're not going to want to read it. And then later, after I released the book, many, many people would come and say, that one chapter, that's the one that I loved. And over and over again, that was one of the people. It was like, no one's even going to want to read my story. They said, I'd be happy to share it with you, but I just don't think it's that interesting. Well, I disagreed, and luckily I did.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is for you, you've released 2 volumes. I mean, you could probably, that's what, 20 stories, 17 stories. Is that right in total between the 2 books?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, you could go on and write another one and more and more and more stories. And I just think the fact is that more, especially in this time that we're in right now, where everybody is, down the dumps with everything that's been going on. I think this is exactly like when we found you and it said exactly in your books, inspirational stories of everyday people. That was when we first started the show. Our words were, we want to help everyday people helping people. So it was like a perfect marriage. And then I saw it. Jay was I got to give it to Jay. He was the one that found you. He was the one that I did the outreach, and he found you. So between the two of us, we're really excited to be able to get someone on the show that has a book almost on what our goal is to do on the show.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, when I was researching in general, just on our own means, looking for people with these stories, I was looking everywhere I could. And it's not easy to just uncover somebody and their story online or whatnot. And then I came across your books. And like you said, you interviewed people within your circle and they had amazing stories to tell. It just really captured my attention. I thought, like Rob was saying earlier, it'd be great to get you on the show like we're talking today, figure out how we can segue in some way in the future, possibly, just work together to spread those good words and share those great stories out with people around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we definitely seem like we have like-minded goals. So that's wonderful. And I shared about my dream vacation has always been, my dream job has always been to do just what those third and fourth books are, which my job would be just to write inspirational stories, like you said, Rob.
Yeah.
Book after book about inspirational stories to kind of counteract the negativity in the news and in the world right now. Because there are a lot of people doing good. It's just kind of hard to uncover them. Like Jayhawk said, it's kind of hard to uncover them because if you watch the nightly news, you would think there are no good stories anywhere and no one's doing good, but there are a lot of people.
Well, my background came from, I was a publicist, and I always used to say that bad news travels so much faster than good news, but good news is what makes people smile. And the fact is there's no possible way you could write every single story about every single person. So you've set yourself up for life on that one with regards. So going back to your book number 2, where your publishing company gave you this opportunity. How did you choose? Did you just, was it just eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Did you have that many to choose from? Or was there just ones that grabbed out at you straight away and you're like, yep, I want that one? Because obviously you wanted to try and keep them all different from each other, right?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted there to be something in there that would touch just about every reader in some way. So some is like overcoming addiction. Some is about overcoming disability. Some is about overcoming infidelity. There's one about overcoming cancer. A lot of them are of that nature, but I did want to get a varied. So I want to say that they gave me, I think, dozens of things to choose from. And some of them just leapt out right away. I mean, like I said, the ones about the motivational speakers that go all over the world, those were kind of no-brainers. Like, if you have a chance to write about one of these people and they already have best-selling books, then yeah, I had to go for those. But they were amazing stories. There is a reason why they're doing so well. And some, they just jumped out at me. It was very easy to pick, but it was also very flattering that I was given this opportunity.
Yep. Well, again, I think you're a fantastic writer. So there's no doubt there's a reason why you're in this space right now, and they're handing you these opportunities to talk about others as well.
Thank you.
Yep.
So Keith, two more things. On the show, we always like to ask our guests how we can help moving forward with any organizations that they're part of or anything that they're doing that's helping other people. Clearly, we can see from the books, you're motivating people to with so many different stories on what you're doing. And you were saying that you have some organizations within your publishing company that you work with that help other people. So tell us a little bit about some of those, if you may.
Well, yeah. So KiCam, they have other authors kind of in their stable, so to speak, that are also writing books, kind of also some spinoffs about the Extraordinary series. And I wish I had more time to read lately, because I definitely would have read some of their authors, because I know they pick really good authors and people with great stories. So KiCam, I was really honored to be a part of them. I think I was actually their first author, and I'm hoping in the future that we can team up again. So yeah, they do really good things. So that's KiCam. So you can, readers or listeners can look them up on Facebook. And yeah, I'd love to get you all in touch with several people I know that might be good for this show as well.
Perfect. Yeah, just send us an email. Let us know. We'll put KiCam's details on. It will be below your face when we've.
Don't scare them off.
And then last question is, we always, you kind of said that just now, and I don't know if you know the answer to this yet.
This might be a loaded question though.
Is, if you were to refer someone that you know of that you think has a great story to share about people helping people, is there anyone that springs to mind that you think would be good for the show?
Yeah, the first one that comes to mind is a guy named Teddy Kramer. So he has Down syndrome. He was a Cincinnati Reds baseball team, which I'm a big fan. He's been their bat boy a few times. And just the joy that he brings to the players, these are some, millionaire, don't really have a want in the world playing a game for a living. But when he comes to the stadium, they just light up like little kids. Like, he is that infectious of a personality. So I met him at a book signing. We were sitting back to back, and I said, hey, I'm a big Reds fan. I've seen you on the field. I got to talking with him and his parents, found out that his brother and my brother played high school basketball against each other. So small world.
That's crazy.
And then I had a book signing, and I was invited to invite some people, and I invited Teddy, and he came, again, just, stole the show, just always smiling, such a positive person. I think he would be great for this show. And he wrote a book not too long ago that I think did really, really well, because he's kind of a celebrity in the Cincinnati region, just because, and it seems like every time he's the bat boy, what do you know, the Reds win. So I'm like, they need to get you there every game. I don't know what's going on, but
we might have to have him on the show to be our good luck charm too.
I think so. I think he'd be great.
Well, that would be great. If you reach, we always ask our guests, if you can reach out to him, give us an introduction, we'll definitely be willing to speak to him, get him on the show, and talk about that. That'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. We can't thank you enough, Keith, for taking time to sit here with us, and going to keep going through all your books. So keep putting some effort behind them.
I definitely will. Yeah. Let's get working on that road trip. We'll chip in on gas.
Sounds good. All right, Keith, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. And
you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
So Keith Maginn, what a cool dude, right?
Yeah, great interview, great guy. I think we've got a good friend here for a long time. Look, I envision the three of us on an RV, faces on there, boom. We're traveling the world. We're talking to people. Keith's getting some good information for his next book. We're flying, buddy.
Got to tell you, I think he said that he was 41, so that makes me the youngest. So I'm the heartthrob, right? Although he does look like he's in his 20s. You're the one that everyone thought was going to retire from the band, but just can't keep coming back. Couldn't go away.
You can throw all the jabs you want.
No, but you're the muscle. You're the big guy. You're the muscle of the group, right?
I think I was going to say I was the cute one, so we'll just leave it there.
Well, comment below. Tell us who you think out of me, Keith, and
don't hurt Rob's feelings, people.
I will be devastated if you don't say me. So that's another interview in the bag now. Let's move on again to our usual weekly, our celebrity guest list. Who have you got on your list this week?
Well, being that you're from England, being that you're a football kind of guy.
Thank you.
My son included. I went down the road. So Cristiano Ronaldo, he is working with Save the Children.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, they give a healthy start in life. They give opportunities to learn and keep protection from harm. So one of the things that really caught my eye about what he's doing is, he's got such a huge platform. I looked at his Instagram. He's got 228 million followers. He's using his platform to bring awareness to, for instance, when the war was going on in Syria, he wanted to bring attention to all those children that were being trapped in that situation and figuring out a way with all of his resources how to get these kids help so they can get out of that madness that was going on there, that conflict. So quite an interesting guy. He's been an ambassador since 2013. I know it'd be great to have him on the show and talk a lot more about it. So let's hope that we can get him on. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I wonder whose accent he'd struggle more with, mine or yours.
It's got to be yours.
No, he's from Portugal, so I think he'd struggle with both of us. All right, so here is my one. This is someone that I thrive to be like. I mean, people have said that I remind them of him. Yeah, all right, calm down.
Here we go. Where's this go? Where's it leading us to?
My one is the great Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, and he is just my hero. We watch him, especially in this pandemic, doing his show from home with his family and his kids, just wandering in the middle of the show, and he just carries
bathrobe on and he's going after it.
Exactly. And you know what? His wife actually does the camera work while he's on the show. So it's a really, really good
It's a family show.
Yeah. So he actually works very closely with the Alzheimer's Foundation. And I'm sure many people around the world have been affected too. My grandma actually passed away from Alzheimer's when I was very young. Didn't really understand what it was. Very, very near and dear to my heart. And, Jimmy being how inspirational and just motivational. Also best friends with JT, Justin Timberlake. So bring him on with us as well.
Let's go. Bring the whole group.
We're excited to have them. So Jimmy, you know the deal. Drop me a DM, a phone call, a text, email, send an owl or a pigeon. We're here for you, my friend.
That's right. We're all home right now. Let's work together.
Exactly. You know what? Exactly. So, well, dude, I've had fun today. Have you?
Yeah, great time. I'm glad we got to meet Keith and share his story with everybody. And look, everybody, go out there, get his books. I'm going to tell you right now, they're worth reading. I'm on the first one, and I cannot put it down.
Yep, absolutely. All the details are in the descriptions, as always, on our website, fullforward.com, fullforwardradio.com, should I say. My apologies.
Easy now.
Yep. So go ahead and run that little bit of music on there. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're not going to tell you who's coming on next week's show. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it a secret because we've got some real big ones coming up, and we want you guys to, don't choose who you do and don't want to speak to or hear about. So you
Watch
just want
all the episodes.
Do you see how that made no sense what I just said? Anyway, that's a cue for us to get out of here. So,
all right.
I'm Rob C, in the place to be. Yeah, you know me. ABC 1, 2, 3. I'll see you guys next week.
And I'm Jay Hawk. I don't have a great story after that. So take care. See you soon. Take care. Hey, Fall Forward fanatics. Jay Hawk here.
And Rob C. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell.
And also check out our website, fallforwardradio.com, and the Suggest a Guest section.
And always remember to keep inspiring
and keep falling forward. See you guys soon.